Hello and welcome to Always Elite. Today we're going to review AEW Dynamite from June 3rd, 2020. Now before we get into that, I'd like you to hit that like button. It really helps out the channel a lot. And subscribe if you haven't, and thanks to all the new subscribers I got over the last week or so. So let's get right into the review here. Now it starts off with Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc versus Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, and it's for the tag team titles. Penelope Ford gets involved very, very early in the match, and they gain the upper hand on Omega. Penelope tried to do the same later in the match, but she got caught and was thrown out by the referee. Jimmy then, behind the referee's back, grabs a ring wrench and beats up the champs. Hangman and Omega surprisingly working great together as a team, which you haven't seen in the past because of the rivalry they've had. It's really weird. But that's not to say that Jimmy and Kip haven't worked well together either, because they have. They've done very well as well in this match. It's a very good match. To finish, the last call by Omega and Page is what they're calling their finishing maneuver now, their tag team maneuver, which is a name that was borrowed from Beer Money in TNA back in the day, in the late 90s and early 2000s. Maybe even later than that. But they stole the name, at least. They didn't steal the move, they stole the name. Then we get Shawn Spears. He's in the limo with Tully Blanchard. Blanchard says he's missing something and then hands Spears a box, and it contains a black glove, a fingerless glove. I don't know what the symbolism is to that, but if you know, let me know in the comments below. We'll see if that black glove actually helps him or not. Then it's Brian Cage with Taz versus Sean Dean. Cage just destroys this young kid in about 2 minutes. 4 suplexes and a drill claw, match over. Cage wins. Taz grabs the mic and talks about what happened last week and says Mox laughed at him for saying what he said last week. We don't play games at Fyter Fest. Cage will destroy you. Well, Mox comes down straight to the ring, doesn't mess around. Mox says that this is fun for him. Says he likes going to war, and he's going to go to war with Cage, and that makes him very, very happy. Also says that Cage and Taz can't intimidate him one bit. Then it's Archer talks about his one loss doesn't bother him, not one bit. He's going to show everyone what misery and pain is all about. And then he proceeds to say everybody dies. That's his catchphrase. Next, Private Party and Matt Hardy talk about Mark Quinn's injury. Mark says that he's fine. Matt tells Private Party that they are the future of AEW, and Matt wants to help them succeed. Sammy walks past as Matt Hardy's walking away, and he looks so confused on whatever's going on. Matt says that Matt and Sammy are cool now. It's all good. Then there was a recap of Cody and his open challenge, and Jungle Boy winning the Battle Royal from last week. Next, it was Colt Cabana versus Chris Jericho. Sammy Guevara tries to sing Jericho's music, but he is so terrible at it. It's to the point where Sammy is not funny anymore, and it's just annoying. He's so bad. Colt weathers the early storm from Jericho. Jericho's punches. Now Jericho's trying to imitate a boxer because he really, really wants to fight Mike Tyson for some stupid reason. Colt takes it to the outside. Hager gets involved. That's obvious. And Hager beats up on Colt all the way through the break and into the next segment. In the end, Colt tries to get fancy with a move and pays for it with a Judas Effect elbow, and Jericho picks up the win. Jericho then grabs a mic, says he wants Mike Tyson in the ring, calls Iron Mike out to the ring right now. Instead, Orange Cassidy comes out with his music playing. He gets into the ring, puts Jericho's hands in between his belt like it's his pockets, and then the Inner Circle tries to beat him up, but he dodges every single move and dives out the ring. It's hilarious. So I guess it's going to be Orange and maybe Best Friends versus some form of the Inner Circle next week. We'll have to wait and see. Next is Big Swole versus Nyla Rose. Very slow start. Swole with a headlock that lasted like forever. Swole tries to outpower Nyla, but that's a big fat no. Nyla is obviously very, very strong. Back and forth for the rest of the match. It was actually very, very good from probably about 3 or 4 minutes in after all the stupid headlocks. Nyla wins it with a huge, nasty-looking spine buster. Then FTR talks to Tony Schiavone. They say FTR stands for the Revolution, which is not true, but that's what they're calling it. They say they want to face all the tag teams in AEW, but they want to punch the Young Bucks right in the face. Because, as you know, they've had their Twitter war for about 2.5 years or so now. The Butcher and the Blade come out, and they start arguing with them because of what happened last week when FTR beat them up. And they agree to a match with them next week, so it's going to be FTR versus the Butcher and the Blade next week. Tony says at the end of this interview, I thought FTR meant F the Revival. Obviously, they bleeped it out, but you could see what he was saying. Then it's main event time. It's Cody versus Jungle Boy for the AEW TNT Championship. Cody starts it off nice and slow because he knows if the match pace quickens that Jungle Boy will have the advantage, because that was obvious from Cody's matches with Darby Allin. Cody locks in a nice figure 4 to slow it down even further. But Jungle Boy gets to the ropes. Cody headbutted Darby. He goes for another headbutt there on the outside, and he went for a second headbutt, but he headbutts the wall. And then Jungle Boy and MJF get into it. And when the camera cuts back to Cody, he's busted wide open. I mean, it was a pretty good gash above his eye. Looks like it might have been almost the same spot where he got cut the last time, above his eye. Jungle Boy tries to take advantage of that, but Cody denies him any leverage whatsoever. Cody goes to the top, and Jungle Boy follows him up to the top of the ropes. They both crash through a table that Cody had set up earlier, which the fall looked ugly. Cody ends it with a nasty crossroads for the W and to retain his title. So that's the end of Dynamite. Let me know what you think in the comments down below of the show. Like I said before, subscribe if you haven't. Hit that like button. Until next time, always be elite.